Hey y'all, welcome. Um, I'm going to. Oh, hey, Jaja. Oh, yay! Thank you so much for coming through. It means a lot, honestly. Poor Tati. So Tati she's having all types of technical difficulties. That poor baby. She was like, she went live earlier on her page, and just to find out before we were supposed to start, that her phone hadn't been charging. Something was wrong with her charger. It broke. Hey, Jaja. Hey, y'all. So she's not going to be able to make it. She wants to do it tomorrow, so we'll also go live tomorrow. Um, so consider this Tarot Party Eve, which is fine. I mean, it's not like we can like totally go live like every day, honestly. Because I still wanted to do it because, I had advertised all week. So I was like, well, the show must go on. Excuse me, y'all. So, I don't care. It's like 4 of y'all in here. If it turns to 3, turns to 1, it's okay. Because so many people, like, y'all, like, specifically, you know what I mean? Like, so many people have been like, we wanted this. And so we decided to do another one. And twist of all twists, she wasn't available. It's unfortunate. She was very, very heartbroken about that. And I was like, telling her that I'll probably still go live and just see if anybody comes through. And here you are. Oh, hey, lady, welcome. Yeah, I was just telling them, Tati's, like, her charger broke. Was just like, and, just to say is like, I'm also in kind of a way right now in terms of my finances and my security, my housing security. But, like, Tati is, like, legitimately homeless. You know what I mean? Like, she's living in a van. So if something like I have to use the bathroom before we go live, or my charger broke and my phone is on 10%, like, she legitimately has no choice but to go and locate a place that she can get a charger. So there isn't anywhere nearby, because sometimes when you're living in a van, you can't just park any and everywhere to be like in a local locale. You have to park wherever you're going to just go unnoticed, because trespassing and all of that. So if you can, please reach out to her, show her GoFundMe some love. If anybody sees this now or when I posted the IGTV. But let's see. It's looking like this might be it. So, with that being said, yes, Tati's GoFundMe is in the bio. Now, pin this for anybody who comes through that may be able to send some coins her way, because it's so much that you have to do all the time. Like, I'm someone who has a digestive disorder, so I have to be very, very careful about what I eat. So I couldn't imagine, like, legitimately being without shelter. You know what I mean? Like legitimately just having no choice of where you go or where you're going to be, except to just keep moving. So, but we're here today together, and that's what's really important. So one thing I wanted to talk about today was that, well, first announcement, tomorrow's my birthday. Tomorrow's my 30th birthday. I'll be turning 30, the big 30, dirty 30. Like, we're completely leaving behind the 20s and getting into the 30s. And, like, 3 is super, 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 super significant in numerology. We're talking about 3. 3 is considered a mastery number. It's the number of building. It's the number of manifestation. Because the idea behind number 3 is that 1... Oh, thank you so much. 1, you know what I mean? Like, literally just being creation. Then 2 being the opposing force that creates the energy necessary to make 3. So it's just like, there's a lot of things that come up with 3s. You know what I mean? There's the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Your life path, number 3. Damn, y'all, you powerful. I think I'm a life path 6. So we likely have something in a synchronicity in common. Life past 6. My birthday is August 6th. And I don't think it adds in because like I was born in 1991, so that's 1 and 9, 10, 10 and 9, 19, 1 and 9, 10, 10 and 1, 11. That's not correct. That's not how you do math. Nobody listened to that. Oh, hey, boo. I'm so glad you were able to make it. Shout out to my homie Miss Delicious. Definitely check out their page. They stay coming with the energy, the twerk vids, and when pertinent. Which it seems like they're almost always pertinent, to be quite honest. I mean, twerking is life. But I was talking about my birthday being tomorrow, turning 30, and a number 3 in numerology. 30s are also incredibly significant. And like, excuse me, I forget it. Like, I say, like ancient Greek or Roman history, supposedly you were not allowed to own property or be considered really a fully functioning legal adult, capable of making your decisions about the guardian until you turn 30. So up until that point, like, you know, as a man, of course, as a 30-year-old man, you suddenly would have all the say that you wanted to have over everything. And then before that, your father governed everything for you. 30s are just very significant like that. Also in the story of The Hobbit from the Lord of the Rings series, I think both Frodo and Bilbo go out on their adventure on their 30th birthday. And that's like, you know, fairly significant in that like 30 is like they're 18 because they live so long. Then I also had watched a YouTube video where a guy was talking about how in your 20s, his 20s are developmental. So I know specifically in terms of anatomy and physiology, the females reach full physical development at 21. For men, they continue to go through puberty until 23, but it isn't until 23 that your brain fully develops, and you are capable of making all of the entirety of the judgmental decisions that you need to make for your life. Welcome, Dee Dee. Hey. So like up until 23, you legitimately don't have enough development in the part of the brain that allows you to make judgment calls, which I'm sure anybody who's post 23 knows you were real fucking stupid. It was like, honestly, you know, it's like somebody else, they brought up again, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and the Trinity. I was talking about 3s. Hey, Dee Dee, I'm doing well, babe. Thanks so much for coming out. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm going to have a flyer circulating, so if you guys could share that and tag me, I appreciate it, because I would really love to receive some funds. My own personal circumstance is that I'm unemployed. I have not been able to find a job here at all, to the point where I've had 8 job interviews, y'all, and I'm overqualified for these positions and I'm still not getting them. But ever since I decided to move to North Carolina, even as a pharmacy tech, yeah, your prefrontal cortex is fully developed. You're right, lady. You know what you're talking about. It's like, you know, moving out has been really stressful because North Carolina is 4 hours from where I am, and I don't have any way of, like, you know, just getting paid. But I have had callbacks about positions. So, like, I technically have found a job, but it won't start until September. And I got a call back today for a potential interview should the client decide to move forward with my application. That's another job that wouldn't start until September. So it's like, you know, how's a bitch supposed to start her life over? You know what I mean? And trust and surrender to the universe without some dollars. Like, there's some literal fucking coins coming through. So I'm really hoping that people will be like, well, it's their birthday. Let's send them something. They deserve to get paid, you know, because I really am very, very blessed. Like, you know, that's why I spoke up Tati before I even spoke about myself, because she's like legitimately living in a van. And honestly, I wish I could go live in a van. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, but you have to own a van to live in a van. So you can't even really be a van dweller without money. That's just how terrible capitalism is. So with that, I'm trying to move to North Carolina. That's going to have a lot of cost. I have to move things out, so I have to rent a truck. It's going to be a long process, and I probably have to stay in a hotel until I found something that paid me immediately or let me start with an apartment. So it's just like legit, I've been really over here like kind of scared. So like I kind of needed this, to be quite honest. Because there's a lot of things that I can do. You know what I mean? There are plenty of opportunities, but it is the transition between things. Oh, that's where I was going to talk about numerology. So 20s are pre-developmental. You know, you're developing your sense of identity. You're learning to separate yourself from the circumstances of, you know, society, the world at large that have been passed down to you by your family, if you're fortunate. Some people won't completely begin to question those things until much, much later in their lives. But everything that's developmental. And then once you hit 23, you physically have finished developing, you know, but you still don't have any of that life experience. So honestly, that next 7 years until you're 30 is very, very, very significant. It's a very heavy burden in the way that our society drives itself now. The idea that you were supposed to have so much figured out and finished by the time you were 30, even though that was never correct. People just didn't live that long. Like anybody from the hood knows that. You'd be lucky to see people live past the age of 21. Most people never make it out of high school if they graduate at all. But for a lot of the other places, going to college and finishing college was a reasonable thing to do, like, you know, 30 plus years ago, because it only cost like $10,000 total to go to college, like total. Not per year, not per semester, some places, like, but total. You pay $10,000, like the equivalent of getting like, like what, like a 2015 Ford Malibu. You know what I mean? Like, you can get an entire college education, and most of the time you didn't even need the education. It just looked good that you went to school, because there are so many people who we know who are legitimately working at places like a grocery store full time. And that was what they did. You know what I mean? Then maybe they worked their way up to a manager, and that's what they've always done. Y'all know lots of older people who are like baby boomers plus, who like retired from doing one thing for like decades. And like, that's just not the kind of consistency we had. Oh, hey, Jelani. And so all of that still under the pressure, and recognizing that we haven't even been giving up any of that economical paradise that they received. We are still living paycheck to paycheck. People, you know, like I'm only legitimately still here because they haven't tried to kick me out. I owed them like $8,000 a month ago, and that's literally just the confusion of the moratorium, the fucking pause they did for a moment on rent. There are a lot of people who are going to start getting evicted. Oh, hey, thank you so much for coming, Copy. Hello. There are a lot of people who are going to start getting evicted. And that's just, I don't need tarot to know that. I just know that. Like, there are a lot of people who are just going to just start getting evicted. People are going to lose their houses, you know, if they haven't already. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who legitimately went from owning a home to houseless in this last 2 years. Just because of how quickly everything with COVID had to be shut down, and how we didn't have any kind of immediate, you know, like social services go into effect. Like, it took this long for me to even qualify for food stamps. And that like literally just has allowed me to subsist off of what money I could make either through donations or through doing tarot cards. So it's like, I'm grateful, because I am somebody who I know that I have everything I need to find a job. You know what I mean? Like, try to move somewhere and find a job, because just because I decided to invest in becoming a pharmacy tech like 3.5 years ago, I've been able to say that if I move somewhere else, I can find a job, because I don't have a car here. There's no bus system that runs past 6 o'clock. There are no jobs that have been hiring me that were remote positions. And then anything else that's closer than that, I haven't even got a call back. You know, I applied to Dollar General, and they didn't even call me back. Dollar General. You know, I applied to Walmart, and I only got hired at Walmart after I became a pharmacy tech. And that just lets you know, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't find a job, or you don't have a ride to the job. It's just a lot. Anyway. This is for all of us out here. Living paycheck to paycheck. Now, let me make this clear. You know, spirit is here. Abundance is on the horizon. It's on the horizon for all of us. That's just the thing. It's on the horizon for all of us. Because especially if you're a black person, everything has already been bought and paid for. It's already been bought and paid for. We do not need to work. There is no reason anybody needs to work, but we especially as a people do not need to work. We have worked long enough. But the abundance is always coming. It's always happening. You just have to stay positive. But most importantly, you have to be practical. See, all of us came here to this earth with everything we've ever needed. It gets taken from us. As soon as we had like the Industrial Revolution and we were able to like both, plant, harvest corn upon miles of corn, raise so much livestock that we can just throw the meat away. We never needed to work another day. Everybody had more than enough food, more than enough access to water every day. And all the time they're coming up with new ways for us to have access to the abundance of renewed resources that the earth has to offer. It's taken from us. You have no doubt in yourself and your personal ability when you are a child. And societal and gender expectations take that from you. Capitalism takes the best of emotional availability from your parents. And then you are immediately required to be a commodity as a part of survival. And now here we are at the age where people are waking up and paying attention because we have to. This planet was a gift to us from the universe, and we are deserving of it. And some of us were already prepared to be of service here on the earth. And so that's why it's like finding what it is that you can do is the weapon you have literally to fight off these oppressive forces in all of our lives. No weapon forced against you shall prosper. And I'm going to tell you why. Because fuck rent. Fuck it. There is a shift coming. This is the Tower card, one of the most powerful and significant cards in tarot card decks. A lot of y'all already know that. Now, the reality of this is the awakening. But it's also the awakening, I feel like that's on an index, a spectrum of awakening. Because there are people who are only awakening to the effects of influences that they have in their life that are not them. Then there is the effect of awakening in the form of how these, socio-cultural, religious, racial processes, systems that are in place, and the part that they have played in silencing you, even to yourself. Because the reality of living in a world like this is that we are constantly policing others and we are constantly policing ourselves. It's to the level where, honestly, outside of the actual physical ramification that comes with these systems in play, most people will spend their days never actually coming into contact with these exact same systems. But yet at the same time, we have a huge, white population who are also on social services, on food stamps, are receiving governmental assistance. Yet the idea here is that white supremacy tells you that you shouldn't be living this way, and you deserve to be rich. And your chance to become a millionaire is one super great idea or one business idea away from saving you. But the truth is that our relationship with capitalism is one in which we are literally a commodity. So even that belief that you yourself can become a millionaire makes you a part of the commodity, because then you start thinking about the other millionaires who will eventually become your friends. And this is where we have the Ace of Swords. It talks about new attitudes, new beginnings, new thoughts, new beliefs, new systems of understanding, new forms of communication. Also, I feel like new idealism. And the way we really get to begin to understand who it is that we need to pay attention to. White or black, because there's still a whole nother melody of races and such. All a part of the world, all under the same connection that we have. But I am from the U.S., and so that is the immediate part of my life that I can connect to. The navigating life as a black queer femme has been both the highlight and then also juxtaposed against the straight white patriarchy has also been very, very oppressive. To even want to remove yourself from these systems and labels is to at least trust in your ability to recognize and acknowledge who you are and the humanity that you're in. But it still must be a more global awakening around us recognizing and then also valuing these things in each other. And that's the big part of what I am looking to do with my page, which is the 10 of Coins. I'm looking to build community, redistribution of wealth, mutual support, giving each other aid. It's not like, and I always feel funny bringing this up, but I know I need to tell people this because if they see it, then they will understand that they themselves have more that they can do. Because the issue is that there are a lot of white people who are complicit. And this is just the ideals that come with being a part of a white supremacist society. You get people who recognize the sexism. There are people who recognize the racial divide, but they never really recognize how the sexism and the racial divide are still a part of integration. And with that, it's very, very important for us all to recognize in what direct action, and not just idealistic and unlearning things, but what direct action we can take to assist others and to help them operate as much as possible towards their own personal liberation. And that's really what it comes down to. Mutual aid, redistribution of wealth, all of these things are just another way of saying, poor people have to get paid. And poor people have to get paid so that we can get each other to listen and to understand that there is no other way for them to survive if they don't. There legitimately isn't any help coming. What help they have given has been way too much. And the reality is that as soon as people didn't have to work, those who did have the ability to get on unemployment, they immediately begin to recognize how they were being fucked over, because you make more money on unemployment than your job. That tells you how little you get paid, but how much your job is making. Because all of the money that comes out of your check, but also from your job paying a premium to have, insurance, so that the employment commission can redistribute that for you. I don't understand why it took that long. You shouldn't have that kind of issue, Plumbell. Like, why would it take that long to get unemployment? And the reality is that if you really try to play these people face to face, it's so easy to do because they make so much money. Like, in Virginia, we had the rent thing where rental assistance was available, so everybody could apply. Now, the reality was they didn't even mention the rental assistance to the property until you, as an individual, was like, hey, this is a thing that could occur. Now, the thing was, I think they did advertise like maybe once or twice at the beginning, but the rental agency was always able to apply on your behalf. So from the very beginning, they could have just been doing that for us. As soon as this was available, they themselves could have applied en masse for anybody that wasn't paying their rent. But I had to go through the problems of trying to get the documents I needed from the rental agency. They didn't even need me to do anything except to fill out a form saying I have no income, which I don't. And then they went through the process and they will send them a check. And now the thing is that I had issues with that. So even the services they put in place aren't really helping people. What does that have to do with okay. So did you apply that you're aware of for any reason outside of just saying COVID? Because if that was the reason why, a lot of people didn't know that either. So lie if you can lie. You know what I mean? Like reapply or something like that and just tell them you lost your job due to COVID. And that's the thing is that when that first happened, it was Instagram that told me that they were offering like services if you told the company directly that you were having financial difficulty due to COVID. I've been telling people I've been having financial difficulty due to COVID. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily with anything that I don't, because it's still COVID. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we really came that, a lot of people got caught up like that because they're like, oh, let's go see if you actually got fired for some reason outside of that. But like, if you were legitimately like, my hours have been affected or whatever, then some people were automatically just being enrolled in it, and that was like, that was just the end of that. But it's like legitimately just the reality of it, though, is that we still have been living actively in a pandemic. I don't know why anybody needs to go through that process regardless, because we had stay-at-home orders. So like, people were supposed to be staying at home, and then they're not giving them the financial support they need, so they're obligated to go to work. But then some people said they were going to get hazard pay, but they never got hazard pay. Then some people never got offered hazard pay. And that's just what I mean is that it really is time for us to really sit back and think, how can I be of support? So this is the kind of thing where we can arrange with this idea. What I want to do is I want to arrange a fund. Like, I want to start a fund, and I want to use that fund as a way for people to just to donate to one place, and specifically because I know that when it comes to deciding who you want to redistribute wealth to, obviously, go for doing that and supporting people directly, but also at the same time do recognize that it's important that it is considered almost every time you get a direct deposit. And that's very difficult for some people to accept, but the reality is that anybody who immediately got shook probably can give a little bit more than they were realizing, even if it was just like $10 a week. But some people, they never were living paycheck to paycheck. And those really are the people that we need to start breaking some bread with others. Because there are some people who have legitimately sent me like real sums of money, like on some, I hope that you get out of this situation. And I'm just like, I appreciate that. But then it also comes to the reality of is that, like, that was just a setup for that time. There were a lot of people who felt like that immediately preceding like a lot of the Black Lives Matters movement things. And then like 6 months ago, I think a lot of people were in a different position altogether. But the truth is that giving back, circulating, and also circulating and sharing GoFundMes and posts for mutual aid. Because the thing is that there are some people who legitimately are hoarding resources, but also there are some people who have money, but they don't know what to do. So it really does come down to recognizing that, like, if you wanted to support me, you are more than welcome to. I intend to grow the page more. I intend to do these things, outside of just you guys I'm talking to here. But the truth is that somebody has to actually do something. So I'm going to do something. And so that's what I decided to do. I decided I wanted to start a fund, not just to support myself, but also because I'd already been redistributing wealth that I don't have. I've been like, I've been sending people money, That's just the reality is that I'm very, very grateful for how I'm able to live. Even though I don't have a lot of money, the reality of me still having a safe place, even if it's due to the incompetence of my property manager, puts me in a safe position. So there are some people who legitimately, they're like Tati and they live in a van, or they're not in a very, very safe position, and it is a hassle to try to be sick or have been sick and trying to get well again and not have help, or just knowing that you're constantly under the struggle. Everybody deserves to have a little bit of reprieve, and it's like the reality of me just accepting that and just sharing the money and just accepting the money and letting the money be gone once I did give it. It helped a lot of people, even if it was just in the form of giving them hope, And that's where we are now, is that we have the star card, which is our symbol of hope. Now, see, the star card is so significant to me, and I'm going to put this down for a moment, because it is like a wish granting, but it also is about integration of your past with your future. And this is recognizing that, as I was mentioning before, your particular skill sets have already been instilled within you if you wanted to just use that to make ends meet. You know, there are some people who don't understand that if we have a basic life income, that yes, some people won't work. But there will always be people who had skill sets, desires for careers, or something they felt like could be an asset to another person in a way that they may be able to earn an additional income off of that. So people are always still going to want to run restaurants. People are always still going to want to, be a part of like the, like different types of industries. But it does not necessarily have to come down to us being like, we have to work in order to survive. And even if you are working, it's still not enough. So the star card comes with us recognizing that we are enough. We've always been enough. It is the system that is implying that there's something missing in us. And that's not true. And this is something where you invite yourself into this energy of serving. Serving first yourself, of course, and then through serving yourself, you come to find that you have enough and you want to help and be of service to others. The Nine of Cups is that wish. You are that wish. You are all that wish. You are the wish that has been granted. Somebody does not know yet. Some people knew as soon as you were born. But the reality is that there are people in this world who are waiting to see your unique shine, hear your unique story, and see how you uniquely move through the world and how that can be of service to others. And I know that it comes with a lot of boredom. And having to go through the trial and error of really just coming to a greater understanding and evolution of who you are. But do recognize that you are loved. And now, I'm going to open the floor. But then also I was like, let me also post my stuff. So if anybody who, after hearing any of the messages here, because I want to post it on IGTV, decide that you want to send something there, it's there. But also just to have the air cleared, if there's anybody here who would like a reading, you're more than welcome to come forward and ask for one. Or I'll just continue to shuffle and bring whatever messages are coming through. So I'll just give you guys a moment amongst you. If anybody wants one, you can ask for one. You don't have to ask for one. I'm still going to continue to be here and talk and listen. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And donations are accepted. For anybody who's donated before, if you want another reading, if you want a reading, you can reach out. I think there's somebody here some people already have reached out for readings, and so thank you. You want one here now, Jelani, or you want to talk to me later? Because I was still waiting on you. I think you were one of those people. Now that it's up to you, Jelani. If Jelani does want one, Jelani can go. I'll go Jelani first, and I'll give you one, DD. If you like a reading, DD Diva 9534. Did you decide 9534 for a reason? Your favorite numbers. Okay. Jelani, I'm assuming you're rethinking. You don't have to think too hard about it. And just because whatever we talked about was always gonna go in detail. So I'm gonna go with okay. And this came through for Dee Dee. The Magician card. What are you working on? You're up to something. Dee Dee. The Magician card. So the Magician card is an affirmation from the universe. Oh, you're so sweet. You did have to. I'm happy to pull a card for you. I'm gonna finish this. Okay, actually, Jelani, you're both included in this, as they're saying. I think they're insinuating something about money. I'm sorry, that was interference. So, the Magician card. The Magician card talks about being in an energy of honestly having the ability to manifest on demand. Also is the understanding of you being the creator of your own reality. So, to give you guys a little bit more understanding then, some of you are aware, but we are purposefully being here and we are being tended to with the intention of us evolving and becoming the best version of ourselves. And some of us are immediately geared towards that as an understanding. And so through recognizing that who we are decides our perspective, we also know that we are incredibly powerful souls and have the ability to create our own individual realities. And the thing is that when we talk about creating our own realities is, of course, our understanding of things, but also it is through the creation, manifesting, as well as abundance and prosperity that comes with being tied to the universe through the connection that you have with yourself. So this is where we are talking about being very, very deliberate and not just perceiving what it is that you want as a life for yourself, but also taking the practical and necessary steps, actions to create the foundation necessary to live a life full of bliss, happiness, and self-fulfillment. With this kind of energy that comes with the Magician, you are already capable of harnessing that already. You're aware of it. And I feel like, Dee Dee, you applied for a job, maybe. Or if this is about that job. But, no, they said apply. So you applied for a job, and I think that you were thinking of... Oh, they were okay. I see. That's why because they brought up both. So were you intending to leave that job to start a job, but something happens? Because they say something about like evening or leaving early evening. It's hard to pay attention because I think this card was for Jelani, but it was also like apparently there was something here that was self-serving about it for Dee Dee. So I'm just going to focus on Dee Dee if that's the case. So Dee Dee, do you do like consultations or something like that? Or they're saying something about maybe wanting to start your own company. So anyway, this is coming down to bad delivery. New job and house. I switched shifts. Oh, okay. See, now there you go. And sometimes they just come forward with this information so that you know. You know what I mean? Like they're paying attention. But I think you already know. I think you're one of the ones who do tarot. But it's like about the allocation of funds. Oh, don't do that. Oh my goodness. That's so much, you guys. They were talking about community support, but also I think at the same time it's like, they came up for a reason. So, talking about community support, funding the community. And then also at the same time, I think recognizing that, that effort is seen as, I don't want to, and the thing is, the universe rewards efforts like that when we go out of our way to be of support and to help other people. Because it's it's not easy being in the light working industry. And the thing is that we work in all types of fields, but there's a endless need for us to offer other people light and hope, because otherwise this shit will drain you dry. This shit would drain you dry. Oh, you're scared. Don't be scared, Dee Dee, because you have to remember. So I'm gonna tell you right now how you can start a job easy. One, you start with the LLC, And if there's a business license that's necessary for you to do it on paper, then sure. But you can start the LLC, and depending on what the job is, you can probably start doing it immediately if you're doing it under the table. But that's not the point. Now, if you're trying to have like a legitimate job, like on the up and up, always remember that once you start the business and you get that LLC, you can use that information to establish credit. Get a business credit score specifically, although you can start a business account. And through that business account, you can open up lines of credit that are not in your name. So if for some reason the business goes under, you can file for bankruptcy under the business and not under yourself. This is how corporations stay. This is how corporations can just, I know y'all know, like, does anybody remember Circuit City? There are so many different other businesses. GameStop, that almost happened to. Toys R Us. There were so many companies that like just went under, and then they were like, oh, surprise. Actually, we got bought by somebody else, and I'm going to leave the country. Because I already had a lot of money stashed in Hong Kong, which like companies only need to have like a physical location, I think, there in mainland China to like have a business. But what it basically saying is, DD, is that don't ever think that you don't have what's necessary to operate. You do. What you don't have yet is how to take the legal pathways to do it in such a way that you don't have any fallout on you. Now that is key. So if you have any money put together, talk to a lawyer. Talk to a lawyer and ask them, how can I best set this up legally in a way that I take on as little risk as possible? And then there, of course, is always the reality of crowdsourcing things, if you need to crowdsource things. If you know anybody personally who may be willing to take an investment, or to like, there are lots of places outside of like direct lending. There are like websites, like hosting sites where you can go and you see, like, and I don't have a job. Motherfuckers won't hire me. There is a hosting sites where you can go on there and you can tell people about your business and see if they wanted to invest in it. Like, you can Google that. That is available. We live in the 21st century. So it's like you can legitimately be homeless only because people made you move out. You can still be homeless in a house. Sorry for the noise. That's how much wealth capitalism has, where houses can just sit empty and you can just move in and nobody will come out and look into the house. They'll just sit there for years. And it's just like, some people are just too scared to do that, and that's why they sleep outside. But the reality is there's a lot of people who have done. There was a man in Texas who was on the news even, and I'm sorry, D, because I just started rambling, but that was all, baby. Like, just get prepared, get your ducks in a row. Always remember that usually to talk to somebody, sometimes that first hour is free. Get you somebody who can set you up like a mutual start portfolio. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that and it's for anybody, when you're starting a business, don't ever think that your business is supposed to be what you are doing literally to have a resource where people exchange money to you. Your business is also your social media, your ability to take the funds you do earn and to invest them, and then other sources of income. See, now this is the thing is like, I had to teach myself this, but I started with tarot. And when I started through tarot, I started watching pick a card readings. So when I was watching pick a card readings, I'd be like, y'all, which card deck is for me? And then people will be talking about what they do. So like, you can come and watch a free video and then buy like a personal reading later, or they'll even still just have a pre-recorded reading and then be like, we'll go into this a little bit deeper on the extended reading on the link below. And then you'll have people who came initially to watch a free video pay money for additional information and will likely still want a personal reading because they want you to talk about them directly. That's the point. Multiple sources of income. And Spirit brought this to me. They are always very, very consistent. Spirit and my spiritual family, of course. My mother and my grandmother are both passed away, and they're always with me. And they're like, this is your destiny. And not just because, who you were in other lives or what your soul means to the universe, but because like, that's what you do, boo. You just, you went to school And then you decided to do something else, and you decided to do something else, and you decided to do something else. Those experiences, like a wealth of information that I have had access to because I don't want to do this anymore. I do want to be rich, but I'm not going to be rich off of the backs of other people. I'm not going to be rich and hold people hostage for rent. I'm going to be very, very rich, wealthy, and I'm going to take care of my community because the community took care of me when I needed it. That's how it should be. It's easy. And not to mention, most capitalists don't even know. Like, if you legitimately go through certain processes and you give money back to people annually, you can just carry it on your taxes and get a tax break for charitable donations. Like, even if there isn't any way for you to get it from a direct person, you can create something that interfaces with people so that you can do that. And so, like, that is like a whole thing with charity, is that these companies could legitimately give a huge amount of money to just even their employees with the expectation of them being well and being, you know, successful outside of the company's expectations of them. And some people legitimately will stay with a business like Lowe's. Lowe's lets you buy stock and let you buy it at discount. Publix is another company where after you've worked there for a certain amount of time, you get access to stock. That, like, companies who allow their employees to buy stock understand that the resources available through even just the employees is also currency for the business. So you could legitimately ensure your stock always stays afloat by letting your employees buy it. And the employees buying the stock can sell the stock. You know, it's their stock. They can do whatever they want with the stock. But they own the company now because they own a portion of stocks. So it's like anybody who's been working at Lowe's for like 5-10 years, and they've been, also Lowe's is like, they're one of these companies where they didn't just do like a percentage, they literally matched you dollar per dollar. So if you invested that you wanted to give like say $20 per check to your 401k, Lowe's would match that. I think like maybe let's say up to 6% or something like that. But that's just what I mean. It's like, you know, like just that small effect ensures that people will stay there and then also retire from there. So there are a lot of people who like work in construction, who were like plumbers and things like that, who worked at Lowe's and worked there for forever. But then they started cutting hours, which is wild because Lowe's would be regularly making like, in the one store I worked at, they were regularly making over $100,000 per day. So I don't know why they decided to start cutting people's hours and only hiring people part-time and not offering them all of that. But you could still invest in the 401k. And this is for you, Jelani the hottie. Jelani, the Playboy bunny. Soft A, if necessary, Jelani. Like, do not mean to misgender anybody. What you talking about? Let's see. I think you out here trying to get it too, you know? Like, there we go. 8 of coins. That every day I'm hustling energy. Oh, I love the 8 of coins energy. Because it also talks about like internships, apprenticeships, learning. You know what I mean? Studying. So I don't know if you're like a grad school or something like that. But this is the kind of thing where... Oh, really? Is it like your name or just in general? I'm glad, honestly, because... I'll be trying, you know, I mean, I'll be trying to see the weavings of the immaterial. I'll be making myself laugh with my own psychic jokes. You're studying acting, Jelani. Well, then no wonder they said you were also included in this magician card. Okay, so you're somebody who literally knows how to create your own realities. I was thinking about this the other day. So like one day I was high with my ex, and I was like, we were watching something on like UPTV, and I was like, you know, all those people are pretending. They're pretending to be a family. You know, actors pretend as soon as they get on stage. And so people believe in the pretending is enough where, like, you know, they don't call Robert Downey Jr. They call him Tony. I was about to call him Tony Hawk, not Tony Hawk. Tony Stark. That's fantastic. This is great energy also. So like the 8 of Coins talks about, the number 8 is very significant in numerology. It talks about like wholesomeness, intuition. I think also even in the language of being of service, because 8s are all about the kind of stability that comes right before the completion of the number 9. So this is like, this is something you've been hoping for, you've been working for, you've been studying for, you've been practicing to do. Never let anybody make you think that you have to go the traditional route with anything. And that's a lesson for everybody, most especially when you are somebody who is trying to make a livelihood off of your art. There are lots of different ways that you can get paid before you ever have to worry about hitting a movie set or anything like that. Although also, of course, I'm sure you're aware, like, do everything you can, extras, if you become, be extra. But I mean this and thinking about, like, really do believe in looking into a lot of small productions as well. So this is the kind of thing where through the classes, like always, if you can possibly afford it, definitely do consider branching out even within the classes. And then seeking out people who might be able to give you letters of reference. You never know where the next potential coach you have might be the connection you need to get to stardom. It just may come with having to have a little bit of money just to access that. And do definitely consider, if you do have the money to be like, I'm going to try to, like, potentially get a coaching lesson for somebody who has like rank, you know what I mean, like they have a name in the industry already. Definitely do consider them. Any money that you can put towards that as a genuine investment, because it's more than just about your performance, it's also about who you know. And that's also a thing too, is that don't think you just have to do a guest appearance on anything. Did you? That's fantastic. That's really good news then. Keep that up. Keep going. Stay positive in it even. And then also, do you have your own channel? Like, don't think like nowadays people aren't just actors and stuff like that. They are also screenwriters. They're also in front of and behind the camera. So like, if you can, start also consider working on your own projects, even if there's somebody who may just have to be the people that show up. I know that you can hire people like that. You can be like, I don't know, like on Fiverr or some other website where you can just find people and hire them for a day to just shoot some things for you. Because that's the thing is like you can always be working on trying to pay yourself. Because nowadays, if you could develop a following online, that is literally the next step you need. Because like I know there are people who literally apply to places. Oh, hey, TC. You don't have a channel. I've been writing a lot, though. I mean, consider it. Because you can run a YouTube channel however you want. You don't even necessarily have to be necessarily in the face of the page. But you can definitely just consider it. Like, that. And then also, like, if you're feeling comfortable with it, maybe consider even sharing your writing. It really just is about, like, being willing to go with the flow, because the universe is always looking for ways to help us step up. Because, the truth is there are not a lot of us who are us. So we're all very, very special. And when you really follow through on these things and you really expand your horizon enough where you're willing to try anything, the universe will put you in touch with people. Like there are little tiny events. When I first started fundraising, somebody sent me $500. And thank you. And I literally burst into tears because I had never had like somebody just do that for me as a complete stranger, and it's like, I remember even little things like, I went to go print some paperwork out at the library for a job. It was for a background check, and the librarian just let me have the paperwork for free. She didn't charge me for printing it. And it's just like, that's God too, like that's the universe finding wherever it can to save me some money or send me some money. It just will, and that's just what it is. Like, people just deciding to give a fuck personally can change another person's mental health phenomenally. Most of the time people are, of course, looking for money because they need resources, but they just don't even have anybody that even wants to show up in their life a little bit. Like, I know I'm a good person, but like my family does not give a fuck about what's happening with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I even told one of them that like, I'm like, hey, she reached out to me to be like, congratulations on your move. I'm like, sweetheart, I'm not moving. I'm being evicted. I'm fleeing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fleeing Virginia. hoping to start my whole life over. It's like people don't think about being a refugee within the same country, but that's like, it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally seeking shelter somewhere else, hoping that I can have access to resources that I didn't have here. And like, a lot of people don't even know that the states here, like the state of Virginia, can easily fit in multiple countries like in Europe. Like, they're just like, it's huge. And then people just live in perverse poverty for no reason. And anything that you can do, anybody that you can reach out to, who you can connect with, who will see something in you, who will see that light in you, that shine in you, that is the universe acknowledging you exist. And, you know, and I say that sometimes, I'm like, sometimes the universe reminds me that they know my name. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know me personally. Trying to move to Virginia. No, move to VA. You know what I mean? Like, move to VA. If you have a car, you're fine. I don't have a car. I don't have anybody that gives a fuck about me to be like, we'll help you until you can get into a financially stable place. Like, I was just telling you about that. There was a whole cousin that has a house. She has an entire house. And she didn't like that I was like, you know, I know that you weren't going to offer for me to have somewhere to live. And she still hadn't, you know, but then by the time that I'm like literally being like, I'm leaving, she didn't offer me for me to come and stay there. She didn't even ask. She never even called, actually. She follows me on Instagram and liked my post. It's the weirdest thing. And I was like, oh, now I've talked about that out loud, but whatever. It's like, I don't wish no harm or any malice on sis. No, I'm still in my apartment. I don't know how safe it is, because I'll be honest with y'all, it has roaches. And those couple days I was gone, because I moved all my stuff, well, you know, my furniture and stuff down to North Carolina already. By the time I came back, they had basically just taken over. Like, I just abandoned, like, I don't even eat in the kitchen if I can help it. But I'm moving, you know, I had no choice but to leave. Especially now at this point, like, you know, it's it's like whatever it is, it just is. It's like I'm grateful that I have people in my life, like my friend Atira, who lives a few minutes from me. She's been fundamentally helpful and supportive of me and everything that I needed to keep going. Because she's not working either. I'm sorry, I'm weak, because I'm just like, you know what I mean? Because a bitch is short, but it ain't like there's a whole lot of rich people around me, like, woof. You know? Like, if my cousin wasn't going to let me come stay with her, I don't know where the fuck else I was going to be able to go. Because everybody else ain't doing much better. But Jelani, network. You know? Network. What time is it? 7:01? I mean, y'all still here, so I'll just keep going until most of y'all leave. So don't feel no way about it. You could just be like, you know. Does anybody else want a reading now? But yeah, just to pick up where I left off, y'all, because I'll just keep talking, because this is going on IGTV, and I'm going to post it, or at least I'm going to try to post it, because Instagram makes it very difficult to get videos off of here. But I'm going to try to post it on YouTube. And what was I going to say? Oh, so you can follow me on YouTube. You're welcome, Jelani, baby. At Faye the Oracle. I already have pick a card readings on there. I even have videos about manifestation. I'm also going to do a more extended discussion about manifestation, because a lot of people don't know about like the fundamentals, or they happen, but they haven't been actualizing it by establishing certain understandings of things. You want one tomorrow? Okay. Oh, you leaving? Or you want one now? It's like, I want one tomorrow. I was like, oh, because we're supposed to be doing another tarot party tomorrow, so that's fine. If you guys want to come through, it's gonna be on Tati's channel at Smoking Ham. Some of you know that, because I'm still gonna circulate the same flyer. I'm just gonna have to update the date, I guess. Okay, Jaja. So yeah, you know, that's really just all we can do. We're all trying our best. I think that, okay, what's your manifestation question, TC? AKA, I'm a little teapot. Can y'all tell I got cotton mouth? It's like, I think it's half gone. You say third person or first person? Your manifestations? So, I speak of myself in the first person. But I am also apparently an incredibly imaginative and mercurial person. So I imagine that there is a halo of light around me and that I'm legitimately like speaking up into the heavenly light of the universe, and the universe pays me personal attention. Now, that's an important part of manifestation also. Please don't think that you're ever just setting intentions. No, the universe pays you personal attention. That kind of scared me when I came to that thought. But that's how they know what you need, and that's how, like, you know, your spiritual family, of course, here your ancestors, your past on loved ones. But when we talk about manifestation, it is really just, it's more than just how you say it, when you say it. It is one repetition, but it's like, is repetition in the way of you developing your manifestations. And you know what? I realized how much I had broke this down into a science. So my manifestations are not just about me setting the attention for something I want to have or to grab. My manifestations are a part of my coping mechanisms. So I started Alana Fox on YouTube. She has a fantastic affirmation page. Now, quite a few of these are directed towards women and very femme positive in that way. However, the idea is that, you know, affirmations. She said to do them for 21 days. So I would do them every day. It's like 11 minutes. I would do the affirmations in the shower. And I would just repeat them. And then, of course, after doing it for 21 days, it becomes a habit. But then I moved forward where whenever I felt anxiety or panic, because I had panic attacks really, really bad. Like around COVID, I also started having my awakening. You know, honestly, that is very, very true. And, you know, the higher self ideology I also believe in, you know, in my recognition of being my own God. Because, like, the universe provides a lot of things in terms of opportunities and connection. However, I'm the only person that can actually access those things. So I think about, like, you know, manifestation is also about what timeline you're currently in. So now I'm getting really metaphysical with you. So please feel free to respond back as you can, TC. But with the manifestation being a coping mechanism is they become a fundamental part of how you are giving yourself comfort. You know, you're securing yourself in who you are on a, like, subconscious level, which only has psychological and spiritual benefits. So, like, and whenever I had panic attacks or anxiety, or I feel depressed, I will just start affirming myself. And of course, it helps with your mental health and it helps to alleviate stress. But you have to understand that all energy can conduct change. It is just easier for us to take action on the intentions we're setting when we are feeling positive. But I am someone who, as a part of me being an oracle, a shaman, also technically a priestess, I have performed rites. But in all of these things, I recognize that I believe in darkness just as much as I believe in light. And I believe in myself as a fusion of those things. And by fusing them together, I'm always able to use whatever energy I'm ever in. So if I'm feeling depressed, I can manifest. If I'm feeling happy, I can manifest. If I'm feeling lonely, I can manifest. And all of that put the trust in me. You're welcome, Dee Dee. All that puts the trust in me that I can do anything. That's one of the things. I know I can do anything. I can do a lot of things. I just cannot sometimes. And that's where I ask for help. I can ask the universe, and sometimes the universe is just like, you should ask your friends. And I'm like, you're right. Because, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, the universe will get the ball rolling, like, but it might take some time, you know. That's the kind of thing where, you know, by the time you're 30, you expecting to have solved enough problems about who you are as a person to start moving with more authority. Thank you for coming through and speaking, TC. I appreciate that. Because I be sitting in here talking to them and myself all the time. But when you reach 30, you are able to fully move in the authority of who you are. And that means recognizing that the pathways that others have taken, even if they're the ones that you felt have been set for you, you know what I mean, do not necessarily mean that they are right for you. And that's important because the quickest way to manifest a completely new life is to recognize that you are the creator and author of yours. There's always a new chapter being written, but more than that, you are the co-author of your reality with the universe. So this is like, you know, past just spirituality. This is just understanding how the world works. How you feel about yourself affects how you feel about other people. How other people feel about you then affect how they feel about themselves, and so on and so forth. And so entering into an energy of, one, I trust and love myself. I do with my actions, my time, my energy, what makes me feel happy. I know that other people are in need because they don't think about themselves the way that I think about myself. And with that, you offer emotional support. And that is how you show the world that you are a gift. And through people seeing and recognizing your gifts, and however it is that you affect them, however it is that you reach them as an actor especially, or as an artist, you know, or as being a businesswoman when people tell you don't have any right to be, you know, like, and living your life the way that you want to authentically. Other people see that and they need that. It resonates with a deep, deep healing that the star talks about as well, because we had the star card earlier. Recognizing all of these things is also just about recognizing how the universe sees them in us. They understand fundamentally what drives a person. Now, the truth is that they understand also what drives you. They just are hoping that you do as well. And it's like, you know, it's not just the universe chooses you. You have to choose the universe back. And that was a whole language that I developed in my understanding of everything, you know, who I am, consciousness, why we're here, and then the messages that I was receiving. It's like, how can I put this into a big enough picture that I'm not weighed down by society, but also small enough that I remember that I still have to pay rent every month. I'd be over here on a cosmic, you know what I mean, cosmic mood. I get high, I listen to musics, and I talk to myself, and I talk to the universe, and I receive feelings, images, visions. Most of them is just us vibing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if when you're in a vibe in your room alone, you're doing your thing. Like, I had a friend, she was a trans woman, and she used to tell me before she had a hookup, she would dance in front of her mirror. Yeah, choose the universe back. It's very hard all the time. And you have a right to be mad about that. And so I'd be mad at God all the time. I used to be like, why are people dying? You know, like, why are people sick? These are children. And then it's just like, I can't imagine knowing that on every individual level and not being able to immediately take action to help. That's what really I recognize is like the how much you would need people to do something. But not everybody can hear you. Or not everybody that can will choose to do it anyway. Because there's like, I know there's some of y'all who like, you know, sometimes you be reading your own cards and you'd be like, but I love him, you know, like, and they're just like, you see that? That's your aunt Cheryl. She's 3 generations away. And she keeps wondering why you keep reading his text messages like he's going to have something new to say. Like, intergenerational, leave that nigga alone. Oh, also, if anybody wants to get a reading, do let me know. Like, this, it's open. I'm just hanging out at this point. But, like, yeah, recognize you have a personal relationship with the universe. And it's there to support you through everything you do. What time is it now? Okay, it's like 7:13. Oh my gosh, you guys have set. Johnny, you came in all quiet and left. I don't even know. Y'all, like, really for real, thank y'all so much, because this honestly makes me feel so much better, because sometimes I'd be sitting in here like, you sent me down here to do this? And I'm like, they're like, but you have a lot to say, Faye, you should talk about stuff. And I'd be like, don't nobody care what I have to say. And then y'all be like, no, like, I needed this. And that's what I really mean. It like, it means a lot to me. It really, really does, because I did need the help, you know, and I just need the positivity. So I'm glad that I did decide to do the tarot party. We're still going to do a tarot party over on Smoking Ham's account tomorrow. I need to make sure I check in with her too, because that has to suck. Like, she was like, okay, we'll have to keep it to a short hour. I was like, why? You know, I didn't ask why. I said, okay, that's up to you. And she was like, I have to pee. And I was just like, girl, go to the bathroom. She's like, but she didn't want to be late. You know what I mean? So she was going to hold it, because she doesn't like being late. But she was like, you know how she be looking. You know, I took a long periodically time. Because she went live before this. And I was just like, you know, go to the bathroom. Like, it's not like they're going to hate you because you had to, like, you know, step away to go to the restroom. But then her charger broke. And that's a bigger deal. Because now she's like, now I got to go find the bathroom and I got to go buy an iPhone charger. So, you know, she's going to have to blow like $10 or $15 just to get one. You know what I mean? Because she was like, no, like $3,000. Like, it's broke. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, TC. But yeah, child, like, so it'd be hard out here, like, to have that much of your life disrupted because you don't have a phone charger. Like, that's really, really frustrating, because I have like 6 or 7 around here, and sometimes I've gotten to the place where I had to just buy another one because I don't know what I did. And I think I packed all of them thinking like, you know, I'm going to just leave. I'm going to just, you know, just skedaddle on out of here. I'm going to just pack all my stuff. And then I get down to the hotel and like, it's disgusting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, disgusting. And it smelled like cigarette walking into the room. Like, it's like one of those things where you could tell nobody has vacuumed or even probably even washed the laundry. I'm certain that they just fold it back up again, that there was a sink stopped up. I was like, I just drove 12 hours, because this is before I dropped off Blackberry. And it was after I dropped off Blackberry, my rabbit, in Maryland. So I drove all the way to Maryland, back to Virginia, and then drove all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina in like the same 24 hours. And they obviously didn't think that I was gonna stay in that, because when I told him that I was gonna cancel my reservation, he didn't charge me or anything. He just canceled it. And they even said that on the cancellation slip. They were like, room was not satisfied with room. And I'm like, so y'all already know you're a slum. You already know you're a slum. And it's like, just like that, it changed all of my plans. And which is crazy, because I don't even know how I was going to stay that long in a hotel waiting to start a job. But I had to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I had to get out of here. These people were like, you got 14 days, you know, and they hadn't approved my rental assistance. But they had since then. So I'm just like, you know, like, you don't bother me, girl. I won't bother y'all. It's like, you know, my neighbors y'all don't see me. So I'm gonna just huddle in here. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. And, you know, like, honestly, blessings aplenty for me to even have been able to afford a fucking air mattress. I was like, it was $114. Y'all are lucky that this bitch doesn't fit under my titties, or I would have just walked it right on out. $114 fucking dollars at Walmart. And that was just to have one that I knew wasn't gonna just immediately deflate. Because anybody who's ever slept on an air mattress knows they're pieces of shit. They're meant for very, very temporary, you know what I mean, living space. And I had to invest in one because I'm going to be here until I physically leave the state. And I'm no longer occupying Virginia. And I'm not telling them, so they're going to keep sending me my food stamps. It's the benefits of having a small ass channel. Nobody's going to know. Shit. Be out there swiping my bitch wherever. But you know, it's crazy because EBT is like, you can use it anywhere in the country depending on where you, regardless of where you started it from. But like the state themselves is the ones who's allocating it to me. And my whole thing is that why don't we just have this? Why don't we just have this? Why do we not just have, like, why is it even called, food stamps, EBT? Why isn't it just like literally a part of your food share expenses? Like, either just give it to us for free or only pay the government and the government lets us buy it for free. I don't care how you have to sell it to yourselves. I don't know why I have to fucking live paycheck to paycheck and buy groceries and pay rent and pay electricity. Like, the Dominion Virginia Power has been allowing people to have electricity for months without payment and have just been charging us anyway. And it's like, well, if you guys can give it to us and we don't actually need to pay you, does that mean we always could have had it for free? We always could have just had free electricity? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. It's like a lot of these things don't make any sense if you really pay attention to them. Like, and you're living paycheck to paycheck for what? For water? We had to pay water bill. For water. It comes out the ground. It falls out the sky. Like, people are bottling and purifying it and selling it for money right now. Who gave them the rights to that source of water? Like, that's crazy to me. But then y'all want me to be straight. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's like we're the only species on Earth that pays rent. Your pet doesn't even pay rent. And you know what I mean? Like, there are people right now whose dog hasn't helped them do anything. And they don't have to get it, and they can still get allocated a check when they die. People be leaving their animals in their wills. Like, shit, It really threw me for a loop when I realized that Blackberry was homeless too. I was like, man, I'm glad I found you somewhere to go. That's my baby. I was sitting here like, I'm going to have to give her to a rescue. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have to give it to, and I'm saying this to myself because I'm like, I have to build myself up to be real hard-hearted about it because she can't go without. You know what I mean? Like, she can't go without, but I can't be in and out of like a hotel with her. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. If it was a dog or a cat, I might have been able to be like, secret spy through the front doors to let them out or whatever. But like, not a rabbit. She's got to have a cage. She can't be left alone in the room. She will literally circle that bitch, and anything that she finds she can eat, she will do so. She doesn't care which. She might use her litter box, but she's not gonna be like super consistent about it. You know what I mean? Like, rabbits aren't polite. She's not gonna be like, I know you be getting upset when I go over here, so I'm gonna just stay right here. Nah. Sometimes she'll just be laying somewhere and one will just pop out. I don't even think she can control it. She'll just be like oops. Cause she will go to the litter box on purpose to use the bathroom. But sometimes she just won't. And you know what I mean? And that's just why she can't stay in a hotel. Like, it only takes somebody coming in one time and I'm kicked out. Oh, hey. And it's like, that's just like a whole thing. So I'm very, very grateful to the universe because this was somebody I wasn't even in conversation with for like a long time. We had been friends in college and then I still wanted to be friends, but like they live all the way in Maryland. So it wasn't like, we had a whole lot happening, but she was just like, hey, I can look after your rabbit. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, you know, her dad had just died and everything. She's like one of the sweetest people to even help me out, to want to help me out specifically. And take my rabbit in, and she's been really grateful for it. And she was the person I went to see in Maryland, and like she and her wife took me out that night, and I was just like, so I, even with the drive down, I also party. And I was like, I know the universe sends me good people, because how do you party with no job and no money? Because like the girls will be out here. They like, you know what I mean? Like, we out here partying. You with me? It's okay. Don't worry about it. Then we met some people in the bar, and who were like, yeah, what do you guys want to drink? Like, white people and non-whites who hang out with white people, they do not be caring. They be having so much excess wealth. They'll legitimately just turn to a strange person that started talking to them and be like, do you want alcohol? That's when they understand socialism. When I'm asking for a tequila sunrise, like, yeah, I got you. Oh, man. You know, the reality of such a thing is like, you know, it's never far, you know what I mean? Like, it's never far from my mind. Because I know I'm just like, you know, I'm just a fat black queer femme from Virginia. It's always a delight when other people want to, like, you know, envelop me with care, with kindness, with friendliness. And so there's like always these things, you know, where I feel like, okay, well, you know, I can just come out here and talk to y'all, and hopefully somebody will get something from what I have to say. And I just really, really appreciate that. But it's like almost 7:30. I appreciate everybody that came out. Thank you so much for sending me donations. Tati and I will get together again tomorrow. Likely the same time, unless if that changes, I will put out a flyer. Hopefully it will circulate enough time. Y'all who know me, just message and ask. Y'all who know Tati, just message and ask. And we'll be going live tomorrow. But thanks for coming out, girlies. Bye.